playing defensive. Schmeichel's not coming up for this one. Thinks he's done enough.
Is this their moment? Beckham. Into Sheringham. And Solskjaer has won it! Manchester United have reached the promised land. Oli Solskjaer.
8,
Two substitutes.
7,
Have scored the 2 goals in
5,
stoppage time.
4,
And the
3,
treble looms large.
1.
Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel, and we're back with another podcast episode, first one in a long time, and as you can see we have Ricey back with us as well. Plenty to get into today, guys. Obviously it's been a few weeks since we've done one, so interested to get Ricey's thoughts on all of the to-ins and fro-ins with Manchester United and other teams. But we're going to talk about United, whether or not top four is going to get done or not. We're going to talk about David De Gea, future maybe potential players for United, Kane, Osimhen. News today breaking about Kim Min Jae potentially choosing Manchester United, so we'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about Man City and Arsenal, of course. Obviously, big updates this weekend in relation to the Premier League. Have Arsenal bottled it? Have City won it? So we'll talk about that as well. And we'll talk about Chelsea and Pochettino. Obviously, he's after been announced as the new manager for next season, so we'll get into that as well. But Ricey, good to have you. How are you doing?
Good to be back, Jack. Good to be back. All good, you?
Yeah, all good, man.
Happy man after last weekend anyway. Little sigh of relief. It's
just a sigh of relief. That's it.
One hand on that top four anyway.
Well, I would say a half a hand at this stage.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still two wins needed, I think. You know what I mean? But look, let's jump straight into it. Obviously,
you'll know a lot more tonight. Yeah, you'll know a lot more tonight at 10 o'clock.
Exactly. Obviously, we would be hoping Leicester will do us a favour tonight against Liverpool. But we'll jump straight into it because I haven't spoken to you about United and about, I suppose, everything in a good few weeks. What do you make of how they've been doing the last couple of weeks? You know, top four. Obviously, we were within maybe touching distance of being a shoe-in for it, and then you throw a two-goal lead away to Spurs, and then you lose the next two games to Brighton and West Ham. What have you made of them, looking at them, say, from the outside?
Yeah, look, since Christmas, United have kind of been a mixed bag, as in, I won't say they've had one or two steps forward and a step back, because, look, they still have a trophy, you're in another final, and you're on course for top four. Overall, it's a decent season. You're after stabilising a bit, but I do think it shows with some of the results you've got that maybe you might say squad depth isn't there, or just some of the players aren't up to the challenge. You know that yourself, and Rome wasn't built in a day. There's only so much Ten Hag could have done last summer. You'll be hoping for a big summer here, but if you're looking to push on from here next season, like pushing on from here is a title challenge, you know? So like you're in the mix, you're thereabouts. You're after having a stronger season than a lot of people, but it is really all down to the top four. The next 3-4 weeks or 2-3 weeks for you is massive. If you could get that top four, I know this argument comes in, oh, have we had a better season than Arsenal because we've had a top four and a trophy and all? I don't think Arsenal will be too bothered by your League Cup. I don't think, as me and you have chatted, it's nice to win the League Cup, as in it's nice to get a trophy under Ten Hag's belt.
Yeah.
But like, if you didn't win the League Cup for the next 6-7 years, you wouldn't care. You know, it's not.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't know, and it is nice to get it in. It is nice to get it in.
If you were a player and you finish in the top four with a trophy or without a trophy, second and fourth, what would you prefer?
Yeah, I know. You like.
I know. Well, I know it's the League Cup and it's the.
No, I would have preferred, like, if Arsenal could have kept it going to a bit closer. You'd prefer Arsenal season. Like, they're like right up there as title contenders. Like Arsenal have been a lot stronger than United this season. If you're an Arsenal fan, you'd be a lot happier with your season than United. Not saying United fans are unhappy, and it's been United's best season in a few years, and you have a bit of stability and all in there now. But I just think Arsenal did give it a real go this season.
Yeah.
But like, just going back to United, look, you can see people coming out there saying, oh, Ten Hag, Ole's record was better. What's that stat? They're saying Ole had less defeats or something like this.
Yeah, so basically, was going to say Pochettino. Ten Hag has lost 9 games this season. And that's basically what the stat has been based off. Obviously, Dwight York came out. He was the one saying that Ten Hag needs to be held accountable for it. I had my say on it, and basically, obviously top 4 is a priority this season for United, and if getting silverware on top of that is a great bonus. But what he's after doing, and I said it to you, I remember you sent me the TikTok of TalkSport about it, and I said to you, he's after instilling some good habits in these players. He's after buying well. He's kind of resetting the culture, setting some standards, and I think that plays an even bigger role. Like, even if we didn't get top 4 this season, and let's say we didn't get a trophy, I would still be really happy with what Ten Hag is doing.
Yeah, look, he's steadied the ship, and you're moving forward. He had a big season to get through. I know you don't want to be bringing it all up again, but it seems like a long time ago now that Ronaldo was at that club, and every week it was about Ronaldo. Like, he's stabilized the ship. You're going forward. He'll have a summer under his belt. You're linked with numerous players for numerous positions.
Yeah,
that's a topic we'll get onto later on. But look, as a United fan, I think it's positive. You get that top 4 secured. You'll be looking forward to Champions League nights back at Old Trafford next season. Hopefully, you may have new owners in there next season then, for your sake. And look, then you have a big day out to look forward to at Wembley. You've already had one. I know some of the lads in the chat there. I see Chris and Niall are saying they take top 4, and Chris is saying they're 3 seasons with not one trophy, and Arsenal are 3 seasons into a rebuild. I know they're 3 seasons into a rebuild, and that's why they're kind of ahead of you. Arteta's been given time. They trust him. They stuck with him. I'm just saying, clubs would rather, I think, that kind of a good title challenge. They really
excitement about it, really.
Yeah, they really did push City all the way, to be fair. I know they kind of stumbled there at the very end. City were lucky. They kind of stumbled earlier on the season, and they were able to get their kind of shit together, if you know.
Yeah. And I think I was listening to Vibe of 5 earlier on, Rio Ferdinand and Joel Bay, and obviously they were giving him a lot of stick and everything. And Stephen Howson hit the nail on the head. He said, you only have to be top of the table for 1 week. That's all you have to be. That's, you know what I mean? And like, I think, was it Arsenal were top for 93% of the season or something like
93,
that?
I seen a stat, and we'll talk about that again later on, because there's a kind of interesting thing with that stat as well.
Yeah, but look, keeping it on United for the moment, we get into the opposition teams. Obviously, like you said, it's going to be a very important summer for United. I want to touch, before we get on different players and who we need to sign, I want to get your thoughts on the ownership situation at United. Obviously, it's Sir Jim versus Qatar, and you obviously been a neutral. What do you make of everything going on? Are you following it? If you are, what would you prefer if you were in our shoes? What do you make of the whole situation?
Well, like, who's going in for the United ownership there?
So it's basically Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
Yeah,
and then Qatar. And then I think there's one other. There's a couple of other American-based. I suppose. I can't remember the name of what you call them, but they're looking for a minority stake. They're not looking for full ownership.
Yeah. Well, you nearly want someone to go full ownership. In my opinion, you kind of want the Glazers out fully. I presume that's what you'd want. If Jim Radcliffe is a billionaire and the Qatar is essentially a country.
Yeah. Now,
I think, as United, I'm not a United fan, but I think kind of the pride, passion, everything that's behind United, and they're like just historically probably in the top 2 of 3 biggest clubs in the world. You're probably talking biggest clubs in the world. You're probably 4 biggest clubs. You're saying Liverpool, United, Real Madrid, and Barcelona, all fairly on par. United maybe with Real Madrid kind of a bit more on top, for all over the years. I think you would like if you went with, say, English owner Sir Jim Radcliffe.
Now, the one thing about that is he's only buying 50%, and he's leaving the Glazers with 20%. So the Glazers are not going if Jim Radcliffe.
But they'd still have only a minority.
Yeah.
I don't know why that'd work. Like, there'd be big loopholes and all that. Like, if he did get Qatari owners, like
It's over. It's
it,
over.
it'd be
Football
it.
is over if we get Qatar.
I wouldn't say that now, but it would like you'd have ye City, Newcastle. Like I think for investment into the club, they throw money at you. Old Trafford to be done up, it become one of the best stadiums in the world. The training ground, everything would be done up, but you kind of lose that.
You'd lose that the history.
Yeah, yeah, not
just
even the
that
history. You'd lose like you'd be after kind of taking the soup, you know.
you'd lose your soul a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'd be essentially selling your soul. Like I know people say, "What? No, who cares? Sure, they're bringing in money." I know, but like everybody knows deep down, every United fan is as happy as they would be. They'd know inside them that
The
they're just after.
the
But
gist
like,
I'm
if that brought trophies, like
yeah,
trophies brings
will bring
happiness.
trophies. But I think the gist that I'm getting from the majority of United fans, and especially people who watch this channel, is that we don't really care who is owners as long as the Glazers are gone. Now that's
Ah, yeah, but you don't
I'm
want something.
loosely saying that.
Yeah, you don't want to like another. There's no point borrowing from Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah,
Like and just getting rid of them, and then you have some lads come in and it's a shit show for the next 2 or 3 years. Like you'd nearly rather another shit few months or shit year under the Glazers to get things done right, where you can
yeah,
stabilize the next 10 years of the club.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely,
Like even when you
absolutely.
do get new owners, things aren't going to happen overnight. Even you
Yeah,
seen, I know you're a lot further on than the likes of Man City and Newcastle when they got these kind of oil tycoon owners and all. Like you're a lot more established club.
well, the one argument that
You have
I
a
had
higher
with it,
pedigree, say, than they would have.
yeah,
So you have a higher starting block. But I still don't think it would happen overnight.
yeah, and the one argument that I had with that as well was that, like, obviously City have had, basically state backed, and Newcastle are now that way as well. United have been spending just as much money as them in the last 10 years. The issue is we've been spending it poorly, So I think that United being as big as it is, and it's kind of the revenue it generates on its own throughout the world with its fan base and the size of the club and all of that, I think is okay. And I think if you bring in Qatari ownership with unlimited funds on top of it, is it going to make it is going to make a big difference, but is it really going to make are you going to,
Well,
you're not going
I
to be
think
doing a
I
City
think
on
where
it going
you'd
from
I
nothing
think where
to
you'd
everything.
really see it is in the likes of the stadium
Yeah, the
and in the
infrastructure.
likes of in the likes of the training ground. Like that'd be massive. Sure, for any owner to come in, that's a big chunk of money gone out of their pocket
Yeah,
to
yeah,
kind of do that.
yeah. Well,
Like Old Trafford, I was in Old Trafford twice before, and Old Trafford, when you're sitting in Old Trafford, and I was sitting down there kind of to the right of the Stretford end, the players were coming out to my left. And when it's a full stadium, it's fantastic looking,
yeah.
unbelievable. When you're going back behind and you're getting a pie or you're getting a pint or whatever there at halftime, like it's a kip.
Oh, it's a
Like it's
kid.
an absolute kip.
Yeah,
It's around the stadium is a kip.
yeah.
Like
Car parks and just shit, like, you know what I
even
mean?
old turnstiles, and
Yeah.
it's just
You can tell there's nothing been put into it, like, you know what I mean?
geez, like at the minimum it could do a lick of paint.
Yeah, exactly. But sure, even them, the white kind of yolks that go around the top of the outside of the stadium, them kind of
Yeah, they're kind of like
spider,
a pale
this-
yellow
yeah, they're just like, yeah, they're rusting and everything, like, you know what I mean?
dirt.
Shane says, if Jim gets us, get used to sixth spot again for a year, and we'll still have relegation standard facilities and infrastructure. Oil money will be charged with having a monopoly on football. So yeah, look, I mean, again, look, the reports over the last week or so have suggested that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the front runner. But again, we seen today, only about an hour ago, that one of the Glazers is in London and that he's after coming out of a hotel that's owned by the guy who wants to buy Man United, his father. So all of these kind of rumors are starting to circulate again. But anyway, look, that's a conversation for another day. Let's talk about the squad real quick. Obviously, one of the major talking points over the last couple of weeks for United has been David De Gea, and the fact that he made a blunder against West Ham. I wouldn't go as far as saying he cost us 3 points that day, because we had 70 minutes to go on and try and score a goal and win the game. But
You're
it
lagging.
looks like he's going to get
lagging a bit there, Jack.
Are we lagging? All good on my end. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You there? Hello, 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 hello. I think he's lagging a little bit. Anyway, but look, we'll get into it. I'll ask everybody in the chat, you know, in relation to David De Gea, it looks like he's going to get a new contract. At the very minimum, I would say what we need to do is we need to bring in somebody to challenge him at least. And if that's the bare minimum, I mean, I'm not against getting rid of, or I'm not in favor of particularly getting rid of David De Gea. Ricey has gone there for a minute. We'll try and get him back. But I'm not, you know, all about getting rid of David De Gea. Absolutely not. I think I think he still could play a role there. I absolutely do. But let me know in the chat what you think. Is you know, would you be bringing David De Gea? You know, you're back, Ricey. So basically what I was saying there is at the bare minimum, we need to bring in somebody to challenge David De Gea. You know, not necessarily you have to sell him or anything, but what's your thoughts on how he's been getting on the last couple of weeks? You know, obviously he had a big blunder. Would you be sticking or twisting with him?
When you said earlier on about this topic, I think at this point, I think it's kind of time to get rid of De Gea. Even if it's, well, he definitely, I think, needs to take a back seat. It's a topic you've been talking about now for 2 or 3 seasons, and I think in a sense enough that says enough. If you're 3 seasons on and you're still talking, will we get rid or will we stay with David De Gea? Like, if you went back 3 seasons, you were talking about the same thing. Is De Gea good enough? Is his, you know, kicking good enough? Is his shot stopping good enough? You know, is his distribution good enough? He has a few high blunders, you know. You're still asking the same questions 3 years on. And I'm not saying he's not an unbelievable keeper, because he's been an unbelievable servant. But sometimes you just have to cut your ties and bring in someone to move forward. And is he going to be happy sitting as a number 2? No way.
That's the thing. That's
no
the
way.
thing. Yeah.
And could you afford to even have him as a number 2? 400k a week.
Well, the new contract that he's been offered now, which he's going to sign, I think brings him back to about 200 grand a week. And that was one of the main reasons for United giving him a new contract. If he did want to stay, he would have had to take a pay cut, which he seems happy enough to be doing. But I think what you're saying there is right. Like, the question marks that have been asked over him the last few years continue to be asked, but also this year he's got a manager who is adamant that he plays out from the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if we see a new goalkeeper in there, you will see us playing out from the back an awful lot more. I think after maybe 2 or 3 games, Ten Hag changed his mind and he said, we're not going to play out from the back as much. And I think he gave De Gea maybe a little bit more say live what to do. You know what I mean? Rather than, like, if you remember against, I think it was Brentford, we tried to play out from the back twice and we gave away 2 goals from De Gea passing out. And I think instantly after that, you'd see maybe De Gea going long or going short sometimes. So
yeah, like Lloris is the only keeper on par with De Gea this year for errors leading to goals, and Lloris has been absolutely slated this season.
Yeah,
and he's had a very poor season. I was reading there that I don't think over the last 2 seasons, no player in the Premier League has made more mistakes than De Gea for errors leading to goals.
But it's a strange one, because yet he's going to win the Golden Glove.
Yeah, he may win the Golden Glove.
No, he will. He's guaranteed.
Is he guaranteed?
Only someone can tie with him. But he's guaranteed to at least split it with somebody.
And how many clean sheets is that? Like, is that a lot of clean sheets, or is it kind of like a record?
I think, is it? I think it's 17. Yeah. Like, and this is a question, and it's going to be a good segue, because we're going to talk about strikers after this, but it's a good segue into it. If Manchester United had a Harry Kane or a Victor or a striker up front that was scoring 30 goals this season, or 20 plus goals in the Premier League this season, on top of what Rashford has been doing. Our defence has been I won't say rock solid, because there has been 7-0s and, isolated incidents where we've been really poor. But on the whole, over the course of a 38-game season, we've been really good defensively. We just haven't been scoring goals,
Yeah.
And I think if you put a striker into our team, along with what Rashford is doing, Bruno Fernandes's chance creation stats are absolutely phenomenal. He's number one in the whole league, ahead of De Bruyne, Odegaard, the whole lot of them. You put a striker in that team this season, we would have been challenging, and you'd have people saying, well, why did you get rid of Ronaldo? But I think one contrasts the other, I think. But let's get on to strikers while we're on it. Kane or Osman?
Look, Osman is 24 years old. He's relatively young, like big future, bright future. He's scored a savage amount of goals. I've just written down here, he scored 23 and 29 in the league, 5 and 6 in the Champions League, and 5 and 4 in the African Nations Cup back in January, February, when that was on. He has a serious amount of goals. I don't know what his track record is like over the past few years. African strikers, there's a few African strikers that have had good records in the Premier League. But me personally, if I'm Manchester United, I'm going all out Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Harry Kane, he's 30. You're going to get 3 years out of him anyway. I know now he has had his injury problems, but this year, to be fair, he stayed relatively injury-free.
3 years.
No. I'd be going all out Kane. You're definitely going to get 2 of the best seasons out of him anyway. I don't think you're going to be paying 100 million for Kane this year anyway.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
But Daniel Levy is the big problem, isn't he?
Yeah. I still don't think. I don't think. What's left on his contract?
A year.
Yeah, I'd be thinking 70 million. You take Kane there for 2 seasons.
Jesus,
you'd have him for more than 2. You'd
Yeah.
have him for more than 2, but you'd have him for 3 or 4, but you'd have him at his best for 2. There's plenty of strikers 32 years old in the Premier League. I was just reading his 27 goals in 36 games this season. So he's played every single Premier League game this season. They only have 2 left. So people can't go on about injuries.
No.
He's not 30 till July.
Mm.
So he'd be 31 at the end of next year, and he'd be only going 32 at the end of the following season.
Yeah.
So you'd have 3 good years out of him. He's averaged 23 goals a season over the last 9 seasons. He's a proven Premier League.
It's unreal.
I think, look, this Osman is a great striker. He's after winning the league for Napoli. I think it's no brainer, Harry Kane.
Yeah. Well, that's been my stance as well on it. I have to say, if you're looking for guaranteed goals in the Premier League, anybody in the world, Harry Kane is your man. He just is.
I think so. I'd say all the lads, kind of your Rashfords, your Sanchos, all these lads that United have that want to keep going forward with. These, I'd say, be all big admirers of the likes of Kane. At the end of the day, he's England captain. He's a leader. He knows where the net is. I'd be going all out Kane anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of most sensible option. I know people might say, "Oh yeah, but sure, we're only looking for immediate trophies then for the next 3 years." Yeah, of course you're looking for immediate trophies. You've been trying this rebuild for ages, and it hasn't been working.
And I heard a great one. Was it today or yesterday? I heard it. The ex-president of Real Madrid was talking, and he said, was it 60 years or 40 years or something like that? And say it was 40 years. In the last 40 years, only one manager has lasted more than 3 seasons in 40 years at Real Madrid. Yeah. And look what they've won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is a model for it. Chelsea have been successful under Abramovich for 20 years.
I know you want to build and you want stability for the future, but I'm just saying, you've been building there for 6, 7, 8 years. And nothing's been building.
Yeah.
And look, Mourinho came in and Mourinho said, "I get you instant success." And to be fair, he did.
He did,
albeit the minor trophies, but he got
Yeah.
you success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I'd agree with you. Absolutely.
you know,
But I think from United from United fans' standpoint, is that our two most successful managers in history were with us for over 25 years each. You know, so there is that kind of
yeah, but
lingering.
I do also think that kind of, I don't know the word to put on it. I don't think that's in football anymore. Like,
That
they're
model.
old
No, I
school.
don't think it
That
is
model,
either.
yeah, them,
Yeah, I don't
that
think it is.
old school. Like, look at the Leeds manager. How long did he last there? About 3 months, and then they brought in Sam Allardyce for 4 games at the end just to try and swing it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But even you look at it now with the likes of Guardiola, for example. What is he there now? 8 years, is it?
yeah,
I
8
think
years. Yeah, yeah.
8 years. I mean, like
Klopp's not
that's
far behind. He's 7 or coming up on 7 anyway.
yeah. Klopp is similar as well. And I mean, I think at a stretch, that's, you know, it's rare to see managers stay at clubs that length. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
and you can look.
you look here at, say, Newcastle. They're after coming in. Look at the season Eddie Howe's after having. I guarantee you, this time 2 years, Eddie Howe won't be the Newcastle manager.
Do you not think so?
No way. No way.
No.
I just think that he'll get, like, there'll be Champions League next year. Do you know, like,
Yeah.
how is he going to do better than he done this season?
Well, the one thing I would say about that is Newcastle have hired Brighton's director of football. Can't remember his name, and I only heard it yesterday. That has, you know, developing clubs and all of that, and he's been involved with a lot of different clubs. And supposedly he wanted to work with Eddie Howe. You know what I mean? Because he thought their football visions match each
Yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah.
You
And I
know
do
what I
think
mean?
Eddie Howe's a great manager and all, but he's not that world-class name that, like,
Yeah, it
they'll,
brings you back. It brings you back to say when City got the money, you had your Mark
yeah.
Hughes there and stuff like that, and they were never going to be the one to do it.
No, and they'll just want, like, they'll want
Mourinho.
a big European name there. That, like, that's a conversation for another day. But, and Eddie Howe's doing a fantastic job, don't get me wrong, but I just think
Yeah.
it'll come to a point where they feel that he won't be able to bring him any further.
Yeah, yeah. Right, finally, in relation to United and potentially a new signing, and it's only been breaking the last maybe hour or so, that let me see, oh, wait, no, sorry, I have to share the screen, share that. So United are closing in on Kim Min Jae. So Manchester United close in on a deal for Napoli's 26-year-old
Where was he?
stalwart.
Was he at Leipzig before, no?
He was at
It was a German club, no?
I think he could have been Leipzig, actually. Or no, was it? I can't remember. So
Napoli are just winning the league and cashing in. Win the league for the first time since Maradona was there.
Yeah,
And
33 years.
And they're just cashing in, are they?
Yeah, looks like they're cashing. Now, I'd say the only reason they're doing this now is because this guy was never going to be sticking around for long. He's got a £42 million release clause, which ends after the first week of July. So any club that's coming in for him are going to be in fast for him before that release clause ends, because then obviously Napoli can ask for whatever they want for him. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not a priority area for Manchester United, but like with the likes of Varane getting a bit older, he's into his 30s now. He's had a couple of injuries this season. What do you make of this? You know, I think it can only be a positive for United, really, can it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and we've spoken this pod previously, and we've both said that, like we spoke about different positions that United need to get, but I think we both came to the agreement that even though they have two, you could call them, well, Varane's definitely world class and Butcher won a World Cup, so yeah, they're both world class defenders. You also need a third defender there that is not far off their level.
Yeah.
Because you see this season, like when the two of them get injured, you have Tom and Rocky, or Rocky and Bullwinkle in there beside each other. You know what I mean?
Tom and Rocky out from the White Bridge.
You have the two boys in centre half, whatever partnership you put there, whether it's Lindelof and Maguire or who else is there?
Well, Shaw's been doing really well there.
Yeah, Shaw
Sean
has, but
Lindelof.
like pure makeshift, and that
Yeah.
shows like how far Harry Maguire has fallen.
Oh,
Like when it's like
absolutely.
left full
Absolutely.
coming in. What height is Shaw? 5'8", 9",
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
He's not the
Like
tallest,
myself,
is
it'd be
he?
like it's like myself and yourself playing centre back together.
Yeah, except
You know
you're
what I mean?
5'3".
Yeah. Well, I would go as far as saying as that Kim will come in and probably keep Fran out of the team. I think he's that good.
Could, yeah, could, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
And
like
there's no
then,
harm with that either.
no, I've been just looking when you were saying about the like United are linked with players for all over the pitch. That how do you pronounce it?
Gravenberch.
Gravenberch. Is it? Where's he? Midfielder, defensive
Yeah.
midfielder, or an
Midfielder, I
attack?
think.
Yeah, midfielder. I see they're linked with that lad Onana from Arsenal,
Yeah.
or not Arsenal, from Everton. They're linked with an Anderlecht goalkeeper.
McAllister is another one.
McAllister. Yeah, I think I see a
I
lot of
think-
linking with him and Liverpool.
Yeah. Now, I think McAllister is going to Champions League football. Who finishes fourth is going to decide who gets McAllister. I think it's going to be United or Liverpool, whichever one of them finishing fourth.
Do United need him?
Well, we need depth in our midfield. That's what that would be
Are
my
you going to
worry.
be spending 70 million on depth, like when you definitely need other positions?
But
Like
does
how
he not
much do you
get
think?
the team ahead of Ericsson?
Yeah, well, where are you playing Ericsson?
We're playing Ericsson in the 8 at the moment.
Yeah, but McAllister's a 10.
Is he a 10?
Yeah, he's kind of like plays a lot further up the pitch,
A midfield of Casemiro, McAllister, and Bruno.
I know, and you're what having like just
you have your Ericsson
Casemiro like as a single pivot sitting on his own.
Yeah. Well, I think McAllister can do box to box. You know what I mean? Seeing him in the World Cup, what he done with Argentina was phenomenal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see what some of the lads are saying. Irish lad says, "You're great signing in Kim. How much will we get for Slabhead?" I think Harry Maguire is out the door this summer. I'd
Think
be
so.
very surprised. I'd be very surprised if he sticks around. Twig says this happens every summer. 1, United wants someone. 2, he wants to go to United. 3, we spend all season after him. Yeah, that's a good point as well. And I think that's the one issue that I'd be worried with in the summer in relation to getting a striker in the door, is that we don't do a De Jong on it and go all summer trying to sign Harry Kane and the thing about the striker is Harry Kane, Daniel Levy is impossible to do business with, and Napoli are also impossible basically to do business with. They're very tough. But anyway.
But
anyway,
I think like if like Kane has to come out and tell Tottenham he wants to leave.
Yeah, he has to.
Wherever he's going, and for his own sake. And once he does that, the door is opening. I don't think it's a transfer you'd be getting over the line in June or early July. Because I do think Daniel Levy will be hardballing it. But Kane does have to come out and tell them he wants to leave.
Absolutely. And I'm not suggesting that we're going to have all of our signings done before we go on pre-season tour, but you would like maybe 75% of them to be done. You know what I mean? Before.
You want all your, like every sign really, bar if there's one there that you're kind of hanging in for, or else if there's one that's coming in, like, what's the left full ye signed this season?
Malacia.
If you're bringing in someone kind of like that's going to play his role, like maybe 10 to 15 games in all competitions throughout the season that you're kind of building for the future with. But if you're bringing in a Kane, you want him on your pre-season tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's move it on. Let's talk about City and Arsenal. We'll go to City first. League over?
Yeah.
Was there any doubt? Not to say I told you so, but...
Yeah, you called it, but I think you called, Arsenal are going to bottle it, but I think you were just throwing that out there so you could have this moment. And if they didn't bottle it, you'd be just like, oh, well, I thought they were going to bottle it. But now you're...
Sure, how was that ever going
all high and mighty, big dick there. Like, I told you, like...
I'm sure I did.
Yeah, luckily. But look, just about Arsenal, they did... I feel bad for them because they've grown on me this season, to be fair. They've played very attractive football. There's a lot of their
have.
players I like. Odegaard is an absolute baller.
Oh,
Like,
he's class.
he's absolutely class. I used to like Saka. Saka's absolutely class as well.
Yeah.
That defender there,
Saliba.
Saliba, class.
He was a huge loss to him in the run.
Huge loss, and that's where things kind of started to go wrong from.
Yeah.
I also like. I know you're not the biggest fan of Ben White, or you're not the biggest fan of Ben White playing at right full. Anyway, you're kind of saying, but like I think he's adapted to that role very well. He gets forward well. He's
Mitoma turned him inside out.
Yeah, I know, but look, that Mitoma is a good player. Every player can have off days. He has had a solid season, and I think a very good season. The left full there, Zinchenko's been a bit of a revelation since he came in. Everyone's seen him. He always done bits at City, like fairly solid, but never really given a proper chance. He came to light this season. Partey had a great season. Shaq has had a great season. They kind of gel together. It's just unfortunate. I don't like using the word bottled with him, but I don't know how else you can really sum it up when that you said
they dropped 12 points in 7 games.
Yeah, they were 93% of the season. Is that what you said? They were
93% of the.
And I just have something here that I seen that earlier on, and I looked it up, and the top 5 say for percentage of time spent in the top spot without winning the league. Arsenal are 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th.
Yeah.
In 02-03, they were 71%, 07-08, 57%, and 13-14, 48%. Sure, as you said, you only need to be top for 1 week. Do you know that week 38 is the only week that matters? And I would have, to be honest, I would have loved to see Arsenal win the league. I won't say they deserved it because it's a 38-game league.
Yeah.
Whoever's top at the end of this 38-game season deserves the league. It's not like you could go through and win the Champions League without meeting Real Madrid, without meeting Man City, and without meeting someone else because it's a cup competition. It's the luck of the draw. You can avoid the best teams by the luck of the draw. That doesn't mean you don't deserve to win it. You fully deserve because you're won the final. You're the one lifting the cup. But you can't really get that luck in a league because every team plays each other twice. And the best team at the end of the season is the team that's top of the league. Yeah. And that's shown over 38 games.
Yeah. No,
would you agree with that? Like, it's like,
yeah,
what's the saying that your father says?
Good teams win the league, lucky teams win the cup.
Great teams win both.
Yeah. Yeah. And now look, that's a very loose statement as well, because you, like you said there, you could go through a cup competition and meet all of the heavy hitters and beat them all. That means you're a good team.
Oh yeah. Oh, like,
I think that statement is more so weighing on the league side more than the cup side. You know what I mean? You don't get lucky winning a league.
No, you don't. You
just don't, like.
Not a 38-game league anyway.
No, absolutely not. Like, now look, I know look, everyone knows Arsenal is not my favorite team in the world, but I would agree with everything you've said there. They've played some really, really good football this season. Thankfully, in a way, they did, because if they didn't, it would have been, the league would have been over by
City went through. I know it sounds strange, but City, we spoke about this on previous pods. City almost went through a rebuilding process for part of this season, mid-season. It's like they had
mid-season, and then
it's like they had a midlife crisis during the middle of the season, but got through it, and made them stronger. Yeah. Like, look at the likes of Gundogan and that there now. City struggled at earlier parts of the season, but they got their thing together now. They're on like an 8 or 9 game win streak, I think, at the minute. Like, coming into this part of the season, like coming into the business end of the season on that form. They're in a cup final. They're in a Champions League semi-final.
Are they going to win the treble?
I don't know. I was golfing with a lad last week, and he said to me, one of my mates said to me that he thought that they'd he didn't say spank. He goes, yeah, they're definitely going to beat Real. What do you think? And I was kind of like, I don't know. And he's like, what do you mean you don't know? See, you're on some form and all. And I was like, Real are loose at the back and all, but like, Real Madrid in the Champions League, no one can write them off.
No.
Real could go out and lose 2-0 to Osasuna in the league and not really give a shite.
Yeah.
And they'll come out and could beat United 4-0 in Old Trafford on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like,
that's been
it's
going
just
on for 20 years, 30 years.
I genuinely don't think they really even care about La Liga.
No.
I think they just want to keep, like, they think, Real Madrid think their bread and butter is the Champions League.
Yeah. Oh, it's
You know,
true.
like,
Absolutely.
they've, like, what is it,
it's a necessity,
14?
like.
Yeah, it's like, if you could win the league and the Copa del Rey and get sacked.
Yeah,
You didn't win the
and
Champions
there's been
League.
managers that have,
You lost the Champions League final on penalties. Good luck.
Yeah, see you later.
Dirt.
Yeah.
Dirt.
Double dirt.
But I don't know, you can't whoever wins this match is winning the final anyway.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
The,
Yeah.
the
I
two
think
Milan
that-
teams are
yeah, the two
bang
Milan
average.
teams are, they are bang average. I mean,
bang
you look
average
at-
now, as far as you go with European big hitters.
Yeah, what breaks my heart is you see Mkhitaryan, an ex-United player, scoring in a Champions League semi-final.
Yeah,
Darmian, an ex-United right-back, is playing right back for Inter. Lukaku, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, but like, but that's where you're at, you know. Like, Giroud is even knocking around there, isn't he? Is
he's
he up front for
37,
Milan?
38. He's for AC Milan now.
Yeah, but he's in that semi-final. Like, these are all kind of, he's been brilliant since he's gone to Italy, but these have been kind of washed Premier League players almost.
Yeah.
Like, people like kind of past their sell-by date. They go to Italy, but fair play to
But
Milan.
is there a lot to be said about Ricey, where if you're playing in a poor league like the Serie A and you're fresher then for a Champions League game on a Wednesday night?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe if you're playing in the Premier League.
No, I don't think so.
Do you not think so?
No,
like,
if
you're playing, if Lukaku was playing for, say, still playing for United or playing for Chelsea or something.
Well, Lukaku now very rarely starts.
Yeah, but just as a random example, if he's gone up against Brighton, you know, in the Premier League on a Saturday, instead of going up against, I don't know, name a dirt team in the Serie A, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
or something like this.
I know.
Go on. I know what you mean, but I don't know. Like, I don't think so. It also means, like, are these teams not as good because they're not playing as good of opposition? There's still two Italian teams in the semi-final.
Yeah.
Do you know that could easily work as the same way as your argument? They're not playing good teams, so they don't get as tired. But then they're not playing as good teams, so they shouldn't be as good and tested.
The one thing I would say, and it's been an issue with English teams for 30 years. Ferguson was given out about it in the 90s, that the league doesn't change fixtures to allow rest for European competitions. Whereas if you go to Serie A or La Liga or even Bundesliga, the league will work with the clubs to say, no, look, we'll change you. We might let you play on a Friday night, so we'll give you an extra day's rest before a big European game. Whereas the Premier League, obviously, because there's so much money in it, they don't change fixtures.
Yeah,
you know
now they'd probably do it so that, like, United wouldn't be playing on a Sunday and a Tuesday anyway, would they?
No. So you'd play, like, United are in the Europa League this year, so we play Thursday, Sunday, Thursday. Like, we would never.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying Tuesday next season. Like, can someone, like, say someone that was in Champions League this year, Man City, for instance, can they play Sunday, Tuesday?
No, you'll never play Sunday, Tuesday. You'll always play either Saturday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Sunday. And
you're saying that what, mid-season?
So if you were playing Saturday, Tuesday in the Champions League, right? The Bundesliga or Serie A might say, we'll let you play Friday night rather.
When would they
Saturday.
say this though?
Well, if, like, once the draw is done. So when the draw is done in, like, August,
would all the fans have their tickets and accommodation and flights booked already?
I'm not. I don't know. I don't know the in-depth of it.
Yeah, I don't know about.
There has been, you know, it has been.
I don't know about changing games for them reasons. I know they do it in Scotland anyway, because I had tickets to go to Celtic games and that before.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, games be moved to Sundays because they'd have a Europa League game on the Thursday night.
Yeah.
And it'd be just changed mid-season.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. So yeah,
but as far as it goes, look, no United fan is going to want to see City win the treble.
Hmm.
Um,
And if
to
they
be
are, if
honest,
they do, they're not a United fan.
to be honest, I like seeing English teams doing well. Like, I wouldn't mind City winning the treble. I wouldn't like. Geez, would definitely.
And ladies and
It
gentlemen,
would.
that's Ricey's last time on the United Community Podcast.
But like just as kind of following English teams through the Champions League, you know, like don't support them, don't anything like that. But look, they've been knocking, they've been thereabouts, they've been semi-finalists numerous times. They got to the final. Who they lose in the final? Chelsea, was it? Yeah, lost to Chelsea in the final.
Chelsea, that's right. That's right.
But
Irish lad says get
yeah. They've been. I'm only buzzing with Irish lad, but trying to wreck Jack's head here. But I do think they're very capable of doing it. But like doing like right off Real Madrid at your peril, like
as soon as that Champions League music comes on, they turn into a different animal.
You see Vinicius there, like.
Now the one thing I would say, City haven't lost a knockout game in the Champions League in 5 years at home.
The thing about it is as well is you look at that team the other day. City were beating Everton. I know Everton now are dirt and they're second bottom of the league and they're getting relegated. But City are 3-0 up, and in the 75th or 76th minute, they bring on Bernardo Silva and Grealish. And then 5 minutes later, they bring on for a little cameo. What's your man's name? They signed off Leeds. Calvin Phillips, just for a little cameo there for 7 or 8 minutes. Now, I know Calvin Phillips ain't unbelievable, but what did they pay for him?
I think they paid 50 million for him.
Yeah, 50, 60 million, and just bring him on there for 8 minutes. You know, but like Grealish, I know at the start, people are like, oh, Grealish is quality.
He is quality.
He's
had a terrible first season, but having a really, really good second season.
Yeah, he's class, isn't he? He's
he is. No, I agree.
Going in now to what Pep, like last season was a very tough season for him to adapt. He was coming from a player that kind of always carried the ball, was told to carry the ball, told to ride the fouls, take the fouls, to like Pep saying, you have to let go of the ball quicker, you know, and kind of changed up his whole style. But like Grealish is starting the biggest games for them.
Like, the one thing now might not happen, but I'm looking, say, from a United standpoint, I would be hoping that Anthony does the same thing. You don't agree? No, I don't mean. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Jack Grealish. I think I think he has potential to be a good player.
He does, and the one reason he has potential to be a young player or to be a good player is because he's young. Yeah. But he has to. They should bay him with a stick or something for a while. Do you know, like he just has to take these little stupid tricks out of his game because he has.
No, they're gone. He doesn't do them anymore.
He has them flashes of quality. Do you know, like his left foot is.
Yeah.
Do you know who he reminds me of? Now, not the kind of style of play, but the kind of, well, they have similar bits of play, but is Ziyech from Chelsea. He showed absolute flashes of brilliance, you know. And when he was with Ajax, wasn't it? He was unbelievable. And when he's with his national team, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But like then only does it here and there when he was with Chelsea. But like I'm not comparing them as players now. I'm just saying that's kind of But Anthony has it. Look, if he starts knocking in around that Brazilian squad, he just needs to.
I think he needs to improve two things: his finishing and his decision making. I think them kind of tricks Ten Hag for getting him out of his system quite quickly. He done that kind of around the world early on in the season.
That was
and then he disappeared for 3 games, and Ten Hag said he was sick. And I reckon Ten Hag said, "Fuck off out onto that training ground now, and don't ever do that again. And you'll be back in 3 games."
Sent him to the gulag.
Sent him to the gulag. But anyway, look, I want to move on. While you mentioned Ziyech there and Chelsea, I want to talk about Chelsea real quick. Obviously, Pochettino has been announced as their new manager from next season. Obviously, it can't get any worse for Chelsea, you would have to say. But look, what do you make of Pochettino? I think he's a good manager, a good coach. I think he'll do some good things at Chelsea. I think they'll be back next season if they can maybe sign 1 or 2 players in some key areas. But
why? Sign more players.
Yeah, but they
They need,
Ricey, they have no number 9.
yeah, but
You know
they
what I mean?
have to let
They
go
need
of
to get another
players.
centre back, and they probably need a goalkeeper as well.
They have to let go of players.
Oh, they will. There'll be a fire sale there.
Yeah,
Like
I do
there's talk.
agree. They definitely need a goalie. They definitely need a goalie.
Yeah.
Just let me Google here for 1 second. Chelsea squad. Geez, I was looking through it the other day, Jack. They must have 40 players.
Oh, it's atrocious. Like it's absolutely atrocious.
Like lads that are still on the books. Like even lads you're wondering, like, I see Mount linked to. I'd keep Mount if I was them, to be honest.
So would I, and I think
But they've,
Pochettino will keep him.
yeah, they've so many lads there. Like, do you know, like Hudson Odoi, he's still only 22. Do you know, he never really kicked on, did he? I'd be getting rid of that Cucurella left full anyway. I don't know why they signed that lad. Like that was that was the best thing that happened to Brighton, because I think they let him go for 50, 60 million and signed your man for 15 or 20 million. That left full is Stupian, is it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable left full. Yeah. Look, going back to Pochettino there, I do think Pochettino's a good, astute sign. I think it's some kick in the stones to Tottenham.
Huge.
But I don't know if Poch is, as in my opinion, as good as everybody thinks or gives him credit for.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't make sense.
No, like he's a very good manager, and he's kind of proven it. But like at Tottenham, getting Tottenham Champions League, getting him into top 4 and all. But I just don't know, is he
elite level?
Like, yeah, like he's obviously a world class manager, kind of. Like, I don't want to be just banding that around, like, but I don't know. Like he didn't really do a whole lot. No, he hasn't, and he wasn't great at PSG, was he?
No, I think they missed out on the league for the first time in like 8 years when he was their manager.
Like, you know, like Chris there said he rode Harry Kane. Like, he did have Harry Kane in that team that was on
and
fire.
Eriksen.
And I'm not saying that Poch's a bad manager, but like when we were having this argument before, you were to and fro about like, would you want Poch at United? Do you not want him at United?
I didn't want him ahead of Ten Hag.
Yeah, like, you know, so I don't know if, like, would he be ever going for Real Madrid or Barcelona job or anything like that? I don't think so.
Yeah.
But look, Chelsea, he could be gone by February.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't know Chelsea, but I do think he'd be respected enough that he'd be able to come in with some of them big names and stabilise the club, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's what they need now. I don't think they'd be challenging for titles or anything next year.
No, I think that they'll probably be up around the top 4 as usual. But I think if he's given the time and allowed to sell the players he wants to sell. Now the issue is, I mean, they're like Chelsea are after handing out 8-year contracts as if they were Skittles. You know what I mean? But I think if he's given the time to do what he wants to do, I think he'll do a decent job there. Before we go, talk to me.
I agree with Chris there, what he's saying. I do. Pochettino screams mediocrity. I think he kind of does. Yeah. Like, you know, he is a good manager, but I don't know.
He just doesn't do it for you. Simple as.
He doesn't do it. No. Yeah. Wouldn't have him at Sunderland.
I was just going to say, talk to me about Sunderland before we go.
Well, Sunderland are flying high. They're 2-1 up.
One of our players.
2-1 up. Yeah. It is. I think he has 17 goals this season.
Yeah,
17 he goals. Has a good few screamers.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a wand of a left foot. Now, the only thing is, there's a big difference in levels. You know, you've seen the likes of Patrick Bamford and these lads that were like absolutely smashing in goals.
Yeah.
Down in Championship. But then it kind of went the other way, and you see there's other players that were rocking it in the Championship and came on. Like the likes of like Mason Mount and lads like these. And I know Mason Mount might have had a bad season this year, so people will get on his back. But Mason Mount is a fabulous player, and who started off his trade playing on loan, you know?
Yeah, Mitrovic.
They can. But no, I'm on about, say, younger players that were loaned out.
Sorry.
Younger players that were loaned out from their clubs and brought back to their clubs and brought into the first team.
Yeah.
Like Diallo had a horrendous loan last year at Rangers. It was a horrendous loan. But he's like, whether Sunderland go up or stay, they'll be doing all they can to keep him. Now, won't be able to sign him, but best thing for him, if Sunderland do go up, the best thing United could do with him is go to Sunderland there for the season in the Premier League.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against that. I really wouldn't.
because he will be playing. He plays week in, week out.
Yeah,
Did you see his goal in the championship in semi-final
it was
playoff?
unreal. It was unreal.
He scored about 4 or 5 goals this year like that.
So you're into the championship playoff final.
No, semi-final, second
Semi-final.
leg away to
Right.
Luton.
That's right. That's right. And who do you potentially have in the final then, if you get to it?
Coventry or
Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough.
Coventry or Middlesbrough.
0-0 in the first leg in theirs.
Michael Carrick is doing some good work with Middlesbrough as well.
Very good work. Very good work.
Yeah.
Very
But
good
what
work.
do you, are you outsiders? Are you, what do you
Sunderland only got in on the last day
Yeah, that's
because
right.
another result went their way.
Mm.
Blackburn, Millwall were 3-1 up on Blackburn and ended up losing 4-3. And Sunderland got in because we won 3-0 and Sunderland got in on goal difference.
Mm. It's
And
written in the stars, is it?
Luton were third, maybe 15, 16 points ahead of Sunderland.
Would you be able to get a ticket for that game now? You probably wouldn't even get close.
Nah, I remember that fan club online, but nah, no hope.
No.
I wouldn't think anyway.
No, it's the same with me, sure, with the FA Cup final.
You see how big, you see how the Sunderland fans travel. Like if you see, like their last 5 home games of the season, 5, 6 home games of the season, even more, were sold out.
Mm.
That's a 45,000 seater stadium, 46,000 seater stadium.
Yeah,
in the championship.
I always had a soft spot for Sunderland. I think it'd be great to see you back in the Premier League. Whether you do it or not now is another thing. But
it'd be good to see back in the Premier League. One team now that you wouldn't like Burnley back in the Premier League now. You know what I mean? Just got rid of Burnley. Just got rid of Burnley, and Burnley are back.
Yeah, Vincent Kompany, in fairness to him, doing some good stuff there.
Did you see the Burnley manager, Vincent Kompany's after signing like a new 5 or 6 year contract?
Is he?
And, yeah. The Burnley owner gave an interview the other day. It's funny enough now, to be fair. I think he's American or something. And he's like, having this guy as your manager. Sorry, Chris, now. But, he's like, having this guy as your manager, and he was going on about me. He's like, it's like being the ugly guy in the town that's with the sexiest girl, knowing everyone else wants her, but you'll only have her for a certain amount of time, so you may enjoy it while she's there.
Yeah.
He was like, we ain't going to be holding on to him for much longer, but we're enjoying the ride.
Yeah, well, look, fair play to him.
Because I think there's a few teams, Southampton, I think a few of the lower teams in the Premier League were looking for him for next season.
That's right.
Southampton are obviously gone. What do you think of that now with Southampton, say, Irish keeper?
Bazunu.
Yeah, like...
Do you know what? It's probably no harm for him to go down to the Championship and get the experience of it. You know what I mean? If he's good enough.
Well, he was dropped for the last 7 games.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's never a good thing when you see that, but look, we've seen down through the years with Irish players, regardless maybe of their club form, we're so short on players the majority of the time that they're going to play it for us regardless. Yeah. You know what I mean?
We'll do it on next week's pod because we'll be on 37 games then. You look back, recap if you can, the pods. On our predictions. But as of your predictions from now, right, top 4 will set itself. Don't worry about that. We're just relegation now. Who's going down?
For me?
Yeah.
Let me have a look at the league table here. Premier League.
Like Southampton are gone.
I worry for Leicester big time. Although they're holding their own here with a half an hour gone against Liverpool. Hopefully they'll do us a favour. Who goes down? I think Everton and Leeds go down.
Yeah.
I think maybe Leicester will just scrape it.
Who do you want to go down?
Well, I want to see Leeds go down anyway, obviously.
Do you? Just being a United fan, there's massive rivalry there, is there?
Yeah. Now,
why is that? Because they're close, or why?
Yeah. Well, it's the I can't think of the name of the derby. It's on the tip of my tongue. It'll come to me. But yeah, huge rivalry there. I still have a soft spot for Leicester on the back of what they done a few years ago, win the league and win the FA Cup. Everton haven't been relegated in something like 70 years, and I think they're run atrociously, their owners and stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind seeing Everton going down. I don't have any kind of feelings towards them.
I'd like to see Leeds stay up. I know they're
Yorkshire. Sorry,
I know they're your rivals, but
Now,
or
look,
a rival of yours.
if Leeds
But
stay
like,
up, I mean, it's a great rivalry to have with
yeah,
United.
and they're never
the
going
end
to
of the
really
day.
cause you too many problems.
Fucking did this year.
Yeah, but I'd like Leeds to help. They took so long to get back up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Leicester had everything at their disposal, and they didn't. Leicester fucked it themselves.
They did. Well, I think their owner dying had a big that was a big turning point for them as well. You know what I mean? Like he obviously ran. Now his son is running it. I don't know what he's like. Obviously, Leicester
No, I
fans
was
can
I was reading a
let us
thing
know in
that
the
they're
chat,
kind
but
of in like some hospitality or travel industry, and apparently during COVID, like
they destroyed him.
annual income went from like 4 billion annually or something to 460 million annually.
Yeah.
Or 2.6 billion down to 460 million annually. That was their turnover or something like that. Like I think, and now they're only kind of finding their feet. His
Chris
business is
said
only.
they routed us for Harry Maguire. Send him down. Anyway, look, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, Jack, good to be
good to
back,
be back.
and we will catch you soon.
Yeah, happy days. Good to be back, man. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for watching, guys. Like I said, if you haven't already done so, smash a like on the video. If you're listening back on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a review and let us know on if you're watching on YouTube. But until the next time, appreciate it. Take care.